All right. Temur Adventures. So we've got Edgewall Innkeeper here at the bottom end. That kind of signifies the green adventure decks. This is whenever you cast a creature that is adventure, you draw a card. And then we've got Rimrock Knight, Brazen Borrower, Bonecrusher, and Lovestruck Beast here to draw cards with that. And then we've got both Embercleave and the Royal Scions here to not only push damage with our big threats, but these cards also pair well with Questing Beast, because the way Trample, First Strike, Death Touch works is you only have to assign 1 point of damage to each blocking creature with First Strike and Death Touch, and then the rest gets to trample over. So this card with First Strike and Death Touch is incredibly difficult to interact with. We've got Brazen Borrower, generate a little bit of tempo with our blue cards as well. And then we got a few Domri ambushes here to be a little bit of removal. And then in the sideboard, our blue cards get to leverage us a variety of different counter spells and other interaction. Yeah, Paradise Druid not only helps us get to Questing Beast a little bit sooner, but without Once Upon a Time in this format anymore, the mana just ain't what she used to be. And like, this deck doesn't really want to play a full 4 Fabled Passage because we are kind of aggressively slanted. So playing a tapped land does come at a very real cost. Let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this and see if we can manage to no longer be a percentage gamer after today. I'm happy that we have 2 historic days instead of just 1. Was there more interest in that format than you thought? There's actually only been minimal interest in historic. I've actually been getting more standard deck submissions still than historic submissions. So I'm giving it 2 days this week to see if that generates a little bit more interest once people see a little bit more of the format. Because I think once people see what the format is, they'll be more interested in it. But if we continue to get more standard submissions than historic submissions, I'll probably go back to 4 days of standard next week. My plan is to always do at least 1 day of historic just to keep a little variety in the arena segment, but if there's more demand for standard, we'll definitely focus on that still. Kisis combo in historic, if that's allowed. Do I have that one in the queue? I don't actually currently have Kisis in the queue, Dude Light. So the bumping decks, the shillings don't add new decks, they only bump decks. Thanks for the half a year, Ryan. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That's true, unless you have 1 million of them. If you have 1 million shillings, you get to add something. Looks like Jeskai fires. Fabled Passage animation. Hey, Marty, it's only 1 year. You could be a shillionaire after a single year. Are you worried about the lack of paper replayability will hurt the historic content? Yeah, I think that's part of it, Chef Seth. Will do, Dude Light. Yeah, we're gonna have 2 days of historic this week. As always, for people who are newer to my content, I keep everything very well organized around here. You can find my schedule on my website there. I always post that at the start of each week so people can know what formats to expect when. I should know whether or not there will be a shilling reset later today.
There is no virtue without bravery.
Cheer emotes are slated to go live on 12/4. So cheer emotes will be later next month. I do like questing beasts and Royal Scions. This is one of my favorite features in the what's it called deck. So if we draw an untapped land here, we get to +2 this and then Embercleave and kill them, right? So just like untapped land is a good draw here. Scale of 1 to lethal. Survey says. And all of our lands in our deck are untapped. They don't have any temples in here, so. Oh, that's unfortunate. Fear is a tool. Use it. It's an interesting takeaway. I'm gonna pass here and just leave double borrower up. Let me stroke my highlights for you. Sweet, sweet highlights. Are we spamming highlights? I think we're currently playing set the cheer points on fire. I'd like to send that burn them all. I think I'm just taking 5 from this one here. I'm just gonna like kick a blocker out of the way so I can attack for 6 with lethal next turn. Yeah, we're gonna bounce the Sphinx and then kill them next turn. Hopefully. If everything is highlighted, nothing is. Burn it all down. Let the cheer points hit the floor. Let the cheer points hit the floor. Yay, stuck sounds. Yay, stuck sounds. All right, I want these Cindervines. I think, I don't know if I want these negates. What do we feel about negates? I need to cut something here, right? Got eight cards I need to cut. Is Ambush supposed to come out? That does kill their threats. The sound is not stuck, just highlighted. No highlighting, now I'm the special one. Yeah, I feel like highlighting's a little bit less useful in this Twitch chat than some others, just because, like, I catch most messages. Lovestruck Beast, I wonder if I just, like, cut this package, because, like, this is pretty medium against Teferi, and this dies to their sweepers. Like, it cuts off an axis of card advantage, but I feel like I don't really need to grind in that matchup. I'm gonna do this. Bump, bant, ramp, the spending spree continues. Sounds good, Wannakiss. Yarok Elementals, please. We'll do Gindi. Thanks for the support. Easy mulligan here, no second land. I did not get announced. I don't know if shillings are going to reset or not yet. My rep's supposed to get back to me later today. Yeah, it seems fine. Hey, howdy, Valms. Bring to Niv, 10 out of 10 will do. I'm gonna gonna lead on this. Maybe I'm supposed to just lead on Stomping Ground. I don't know. I want double green, I think, anyways. I do not have what I was just going to do a Google search, so you're welcome. If you want to submit it through the forum menu, that would be great. If you have a specific one you'd like to see. Perfect. Bounce this one, Tefri. Rude. Hey, thanks, Kevin Watt. Loot it up. Loot it up. Vacation time, Hooglandia Marathon. Sounds like a great use of your time off. I approve. What is my strategy here? Gonna be kicking that back up to your hand, I think, is my strategy. Look at all these common folks speaking in non-highlights. It's quite pathetic. Plebs these days. Too many plebs. To the 19-month decline of Modern. Thanks for the 19 months, Drew. Welcome back.
I enjoy the proper
Yikes. Oh, I should have kept... This is actually a pretty big mistake. I should have kept the breeding pool, because I can't Brazen Borrower and Aether Gust this turn right now. But I've kept the breeding pool, I could have done both. 5 Cognitive Visit is a playable deck in Modern. Fight me. I mean, well, if you really want me to fight you, pro tip, don't pick fights you can never win. It's a good generic life lesson. All things considered. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Believe we have died. That was a real good one. If they hadn't had that, we would have gotten to chump block likely and then pop off the Scions next turn, but without getting to do that. Yeah, and the way like that game played out, I don't even know if the Cinder Vines is worth bringing in here, honestly. Playable and useful aren't the same thing. I can queue up with 60 forests and it's playable. I think that's being pedantic, Ago. I think the commonly accepted vernacular is playable doesn't mean it doesn't mean legal deck. Hello from the future. I hope you enjoyed that vacation. Hashtag YouTube time machine. I feel like this hand just doesn't do anything. I guess it's got Paradise Druid on too. It's got Druid into Borrower. I guess I don't have second blue for Borrower. I don't know, I'm torn. Hand sucks keep. This might be a prime example of hand sucks keep. I like how other people coming in are like, oh no, are the shillings resetting? Because people are just like lighting them on fire. Shillings are not currently scheduled to reset. People are just being people. That's a good draw. Do you have an Aether Gust? An Aether Gust? An Aether Gust? Do you have an Aether Gust? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Wow! Just had the Spidey sense and knew that we didn't have a fourth land. Brutal. Should you have bottom there because Jeffrey bounce means you can't play it on 4? No, I mean, my hand just doesn't do anything, Gengar. So, like, want my good card? I'm a ways from home and you're hands down the only TMTG content creator I keep up with. Hey, thanks for the biddies, money boy. Username checks out. There, if their hand is good, we're probably dead. Any thought on Rimrock plus Domri's? I don't know. Then, like, I didn't play my Questing Beast, and, like, they can kill my Paradise Druid, and I still can't play my Questing Beast. Yeah. Yep. The opponent's deck, and then the Cat Oven decks are definitely level 1 of this current format. Very, very powerful. Show me potato salad. Well, not quite Red Cavalier, but I think that'll do in a pinch. I believe we have died. I guess this means I can run this line now. Then, like, attack them for 5. But, like, they just, like, brainstorm twice, didn't shuffle in between. Now they get to shuffle and scry 2. So, like, the odds of their hand just not being absurdly stacked at this point are very low. If WotC delivers on their intention to bring Pioneer to Arena, I will be very happy. I will delete my Windows VM. I will delete my Windows VM and just stream Arena. But until such a day happens, Moto is necessary. Sure, I think expecting it before, I think 3 years is optimistic. I would expect getting Pioneer into Arena is three or more years out. I ran out of free currency. Asked an actual question, but ran out of free currency. Thanks for the 12 months, Stingray. I think saying Modern is dead is being overly hyperbolic, but I think the people who were only playing Modern because they like Magic and only like non-rotating formats, but didn't enjoy getting Troned and getting Blood Moon and getting Chalice and getting Valakutted, I think those people are leaving Modern. And honestly, I don't know how many people who play Modern actually like dying to all those awful things. Like, don't get me wrong. There's definitely a subset of people out there that they live to play Tron and play against Tron and those things I just listed. And, like, more power to them. But I think there's a number of people who have never been happy that those things happened to them, but Modern was their only choice. And now Pioneer and even Historic to an extent here on Arena are going to offer them refuge from those things. I actually just approved my first Modern submission I've approved since Pioneer dropped this morning. Someone asked if they could put blue-black fairies into the queue, and I love that deck in Modern, so I'm happy to play some blue-black fairies. I sold out of Modern and into 13 paper Pioneer decks. Can I ask how many paper Modern decks you had to turn into 13 Pioneer decks? I actually, as someone who's been vehemently against Nexus of Fate, I actually think between this card and this card, Nexus of Fate is fairly reasonable in Pioneer, or in Historic, sorry. It's reasonable in Pioneer too, but I think the fact that we got these two cards that beat Fog is a big deal. Look at the burrito. A burrito with a hot dog in the middle. Sounds like a trap.
Trust me. You'll thank me later. No, I am not making this up as I go.
You made a squished burrito. Squishy burrito. Yes, yeah, things like Knights and Mono Red. Yeah, Little Teferi's like always been around, but I think the fact that Bonecrusher and Questing Beast let different aggressive decks that don't play counterspells or discard beat Fogs is a big deal. Don't get me wrong, waiting for the Nexus player to eventually win the game is still pretty tedious, but there's more counterplay than there was when it was in Standard by a lot. We don't know if shillings are resetting yet. I should know by the end of the day, hopefully. If they are, it won't be till sometime in December. And if they are, I'll be making announcements about it. I'm gonna stomp now, so this way I have 2 lethal threats next turn without playing into an absorb. How? Negate, Disdainful Stroke. Do I just assume? Do we think I should just assume my opponent is playing a bunch of enchantment removal? I feel like that's probably not an unreasonable assumption. I know Beastly was okay there, but I think he's actually not very good in this matchup on average. Ambush seems a little bit mean. Would I rather have Ambush or Embercleave? Embercleave making all of my threats better threats is probably ideal. I'll leave 1 Beastly in. Embercleave's not stellar against 3 mana Teferi either though, but we can frequently kill him in combat, which is nice. Wait, is this... Can someone give me a quick... As someone who hasn't been looking, does anybody have a quick TLDR on what this layer thing is? Are they new unique cards? The Magic account just tweeted something about people having spoilers. Nice, Hexa. I think we're going to see a lot of that in Historic, honestly. They're themed reprints. Okay. Okay, sure. They're from the vault. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, I think, like, you see this a lot in Modern and Legacy where people, like, bling out their deck. 'Cause they're like, oh, I love this deck and it doesn't rotate so I can keep it forever. So, like, when people find decks they really connect with, I bet we'll see a lot more foil decks in Historic from people, borderless decks. Whatever you wants to call it.
This isn't a fight you can win. I've got time.
Yeah, I'd really like to talk with, I'd really like to speak with someone about firing whoever picks which cards are borderless and which cards aren't. Because the fact that this format staple doesn't have a borderless option is very egregious. It looks like SCG Creature Collection art. Hey, I mean, use stuff that people like. Gadwick. Interesting. What is your quest? I seek the face. This is the part where they chump block and then instant speed time wipe us next turn. Really? Okay, so the no chump block there strongly implies that they're not about to sweep our board, which is very good for us. Oh, Time Wipe picks their stuff up. Got it. What a tilter. Feels bad, man. Thanks for 11 months, Chewy. Welcome back. We can make Gadwick ugly cry. That is true. The fact that neither of our innkeepers got to... So they have a dispute, right? So I'm not going to jam this there. We'll shock this in and then jam it at the end of their next turn. No, we died in a horrible Blades to Jeskai Fires. Their deck is very good, and we registered the Royal Scions. Lights, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is my friend. You leave the Royal Scions out of this. Listen, they're a very playable card, Marty. They're great in Historic. We're about to get double disputed. I think we're about to get double disputed. What? Deal.
What is my strategy here?
In. Fires feels like the to beat in this format. Yeah, Fires and Oven are the two top dogs for sure. I mean, like, we kind of got a 3-for-1 there, right? Because, like, they spent 2 cards beating our Scions and then, like, it looted past the land. Instead of looting, would pumping have been a better choice? Why would pumping be a better choice? Can you explain? Rather than me just telling you you're wrong? Instead of, can you use specifics, Gendy? So, like, did +2ing there meaningfully change the clock? That's the question you want to ask yourself. In the situation, did it meaningfully change the clock? Yeah, it takes 2 turns of pumping to kill them faster, which is pretty unlikely to happen. Let's say your children decide to start playing Magic Would you let them loose on Arena to learn, or do you think younger age is a more simple version of the game? Nah, I just let them play Arena. 10 out of 10, just go play Arena. Do you know the questing beast, the questing beast, the questing beast? They stole my questing beast. I am very sad. We're gonna hold on to the forest here in case we draw Royal Scions. Tranquil Cove is actually an incredibly good draw for them because it means Bonecrusher Giant's no longer in out here. It also means this isn't an out. Forgot about that one. Now I have a loot, Marty. All right, now we're dead. Rats, they saw the line. Tranquil Cove, chat. They gained 2 and they ended at 1. And actually, this is a good point to talk about results-oriented thinking. Some folks could be like, well, if you would have plus two damage on the Scions, you'd have killed them there. But if you actually think through what you're saying there, if I +2 on the Scions, I'm actually 1 fewer cards deeper into my deck, which means I don't have the Cindervines off the top there to get my things back and deal those last points of damage. I am confident that looting there was correct. I think getting deeper rather than like trying to be more aggressive is ideal when they have as many cards as they have in their hand. I think if my opponent was like empty-handed, I'd just try and kill them in 3 rather than 4, but because they had so many cards, the odds of them interacting with us was incredibly high. I'm gonna go ahead and just stomp them now because I don't want to get my Bonecrusher Giant vetoed. This lets me go. Stomp your face, play Bonecrusher, play Questing Beast. That's a nice curve. Huh? Well, now we just do this, right? Like, try and get some value. Stomp in the name of love. Do, 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 do. Have we done Temur Alliance since the bans? Temur? I don't think we've ever played Temur Alliance. We've played some Grixis, and we've played some blue-red. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna do it again. I think Bonecrusher would be a reasonable extra threat in modern Jeskai Flash. Yeah, quite possibly. Maybe we'll try that on Friday. The last modern deck in the queue is Jeskai Flash. Brazen Borrower is also likely very good in that deck. We'll probably try some of the adventure creatures there when we do. When we do it. I've already swapped Brazen Borrower in for Click. The tempo is more relevant in that deck. Maybe. Those cards do different things. So, like, Click's one of the best cards in your deck against combo decks. I faced Blue-Green Nexus yesterday with only 1 Oko and their main is their only win con. It took them 21 minutes to kill me game 1, and in game 2, in 40 seconds, they started roping me after I presented a lethal board state. That's great. I'm gonna beat this skinny burrito horse guy. It looks perfect with the thin emote, too. That's great. I need more of that in my life.
Oh, I've done the hero thing.
One of the harder things, in my opinion, is the debate of do you commit a threat if you think they have a counterspell? That's contextual. It depends on, like, what counterspells counter your thing, how they've played the game up until that point to represent a potential counterspell, stuff like that. Are there any adventure-based decks that you think have suffered more from Once Upon a Time than others? Nah, they all took a hit pretty evenly. Like all the good adventure decks are green. I got to get quenched. Aether Gusted. Yeah, it sucks. I think it's important that I kill Teferi here because I don't want to get instant speed time wipe next turn. So as bad as it feels to hit their planeswalker instead of their face, I think dodging instant speed time wipe here is important. Gargantuan, thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Huh? It's a big boy. Oh. I miss Advent of the Worm. Gosh, I played the crap out of that card. Yeah, it depends, Busy, because, like, sometimes your least desirable threat isn't worth them using a counterspell. Is the problem with the line of thinking you just expressed. Let's not tap both my blue sources. Thanks, game. Yeah, I agree. I think the Cavaliers are a phenomenal example of pretty well-designed threats overall. Thank you, sir. May I have another? No, I didn't mean actually give me another. I meant let my card resolve so I could play Magic. I was joking. I joke, look, I kid. This is not good for our hero, chat. This is the time wipe. Feels bad, man. So on a scale of 1 to dead here, definitely feeling closer to the dead side of the scale. Man, chat, it's been a rough day, chat. We've won one match of Magic in almost 4.5 hours. Ugh. At least we didn't have to spend. At least we didn't have to spend $10 to play these matches, I suppose. Ugh. It's a shame I don't have any tournaments coming up, because, like, we're definitely storing up all that variance. Great vacation, thanks for that. We need to play a Lucky Clover deck, yeah. Yeah, we played 3 Pioneer decks this morning, and we went a collective total of 1 and 9 with them. At one point this morning, we were 6 matches in and had not won a game. Oh, they seek my face, chat. They think my face is the place. So I could rim this, and then Domri's ambush this. Is that good enough, though? That's probably fine. Hey, thanks for being here, boss. Would you like to see a replay archive for your matches and a tracker for the win-loss percentage in the ranked queue? I don't really care about stats for win-losses, just because, like, the stats would be small enough sample sizes that they're basically irrelevant. I'm gonna stomp this and then play this out to try and block the questing beast here, I think. And we'll just die to an Embercleave. Replays would be great. Replay, spectator, client, tournament mode. These are a few of my favorite things. Unfortunately, unlike I have for Magic Arena, there's no third-party plugin to, like, embed Mythgard decks really nicely on my website. So the reason why I've not put any up there, because I wouldn't be able. I don't like half-assing things. So, like, if I can't do something well, I just, like, don't do it instead. Prefer to only full-ass things, chat. Yeah, ambush has been really good. Yeah, the fact that he just, like, had nothing to do here is just great for us. Why do you think Artifact failed? Every single person I know loved the game and speaks out. You didn't talk to enough people. Artifact is quite possibly one of the worst card games I have ever played out of all the modern era digital card games. It is atrociously bad as far as actual gameplay goes. Playing Artifact feels like taking a competitive math test, and not in the good way. And I say that as someone who has a master's degree in mathematics because I like taking math tests. Playing Artifact was like if someone told you, hey, you're gonna have to do 800 third grade arithmetic problems while on a timer. It was incredibly tedious. Artifact felt like a good Artifact felt to me like a good example of game designers who mistook complexity for depth. Just because a game is complex doesn't mean it has deep, interesting gameplay. It was also a good example of just because a game is low variance doesn't mean it's a better game. Because I do think Artifact was fairly low variance, all things considered. But I also don't think it was a very good game. For the reasons I just stated. I also think Artifact is a good case study in where you put the variance really matters in your games. Because I think Artifact did a poor job of where it allotted the variance. A lot of the variance in Artifact was very feel-bad variance. The things you didn't have control over were in exceptionally poor spots. from a personal standpoint, I at least get to take the money that I spent on artifact cards and write it off on my taxes. So I've got that going for me. Why was the hype for Artifact so big? The hype for Artifact was big not only because of prize money, but because Valve puts out so few products, people were expecting anything they put out to just be stellar. It also had Richard Garfield as one of the core designers behind it. And Richard Garfield is one of the originators of Magic and has had a number of other really well-designed games put out over the years, so people expected anything he touched to be gold. Yeah, money, Richard Garfield, and Valve. And to be fair, Valve's a very good software studio, right? Like, from the software perspective, Artifact is still, to this day, one of the best pieces of technology that I've ever seen behind a game. I think Mythgard is slowly overtaking it for me as best piece of software, because Mythgard is really good technology as well. I mean, if Mythgard finishes their feature list that they want to finish, it'll be better than Artifact in terms of features. Hey, thanks for the 3/4 of a year, Camp. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so here we just go Innkeeper into Lovestruck, draw a card, I think. That's a good one. Do we know it was definitely Richard Garfield they had, not Garfield the cat? You know? I don't know. One of the especially interesting things around Artifact, though, was it really, if you look at a lot of the hype surrounding Artifact, it really shows you who you could kind of trust in the industry as far as content creators go, in my opinion. Because, like, after seeing feedback from a number of people, I was like, oh, I'm just never trusting your review of a game again. Like, either they thought it was something it wasn't, or they just didn't want to say bad things about it in case it was the next big thing. Why is the word forest slightly left oriented here? Can you see that? It's kind of small, but like it's not on the mouse over, but on the actual card item here, there's a gap over here on this side. I don't agree with that. Artifact was snappy and shiny. I was sure the game was good for 10 hours. Yeah, but a lot of the people who were promoting it, Nifty, were people who had closed beta access, who had played it for literal days. They knew what it was. So your point is silly because they had way more than 10 hours of gameplay. Like, I wonder if Artifact will go down in history as the only game that had large esports tournaments inside of closed beta and then did actual zero after releasing. Because, like, Artifact had, like, multiple, like, 5Ks for their closed beta testers and then didn't do any actual public-facing tournaments once it released because it was just such a disaster. Thanks for the 7 months, Kind Fiend. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Was there a rationale to holding back the human token? You mean, what was the rationale? Because I didn't want them to trade their Paradise Druid for my 1/1 because then my Lovestruck Beast couldn't attack anymore. Yeah, I think there's a good chance they like take the bones of their software, like their tournament system and stuff, and like redesign a game that doesn't suck. What happened to the Big Promise tournament? They just ghosted us. They just didn't say anything about it. They promised us a $1 million first place artifact tournament in 2019, and they just didn't deliver. We should get everybody together who bought Artifact and file a class action lawsuit about that for false advertising. This is America. I feel like we can sue them for anything. Thanks for the 14 months, Derek. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How much did I spend on Artifact? It was across 2 years. Let me see. What do my spreadsheets say? Blue-green flash. My spreadsheets say I spent $258.20. How much did I cash out? I cashed nothing back out. Secondary markets are nonsense. How much to donate for an artifact deck? Oh. I'm gonna give a potentially lukewarm take. I preferred playing against Field of the Dead and then playing against these flash decks and these blue-white control decks. We might play more Historic on this stream, if only because I don't really like experiencing these things. Yeah, I tweeted last week that I wanted Field back. I think there's a non-zero chance that Eldraine Standard 3.0 still is worse than Field Standard. Sir, we played Nova Blitz at one point on this stream. Nova Blitz. What was it? We did Nova Blitz. You were talking just about card games. I think that's it. No, I streamed a little bit of Hearthstone at one point. I definitely streamed a little Hearthstone at one point. I think we're just supposed to cut all these expensive clunky cards. Just like drag the curve down and hope for the best. I'm firmly in the camp that they should not have given into the initial frenzy and just not banned anything. Valen once I could see axing because they're obnoxious. Yeah, I agree. I agree, extras. Honestly, I'm still a pretty big advocate that they should have... I would have just banned Goose once and Veil and a Boreal Grazer. I think no ban standard with just a Boreal Grazer would have been fine. I also think part of the reason I've been enjoying Historic too, though, is because Historic is not that far off of like no ban standard. Temur Oko is my jam, chat. Temur Oko is my jam. I think it's good to understand how the other half lives. I think it's good. I think playing other games, even if you don't get heavily invested in them, gives you a good feel for like makes you appreciate Magic more to a degree. and just have a good understanding. Speaking of Hearthstone, what did I spend on Hearthstone last year? I have my cards. I spent almost $1,200 on Hearthstone cards last year when I dipped into streaming it a little bit to get a mostly full collection. Yay spreadsheets. Yeah, hey, if you've got a historic deck you're enjoying, most of the decks we play here on this stream are things that people have sent in, so feel free to send in your sweet ideas. So Jake has a nice Hearthstone collection. Declan actually plays a little bit of Hearthstone on occasion. Nebulous, thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, the reason why I actually stopped doing Hearthstone wasn't even just because, the viewer count was bad, because my viewer count wasn't good when I was playing Hearthstone. Like, streaming your not main game on Twitch, it generally means you have a bad viewer count. I just like, Hearthstone's gameplay, it isn't very deep. I guess it's not strictly fair to say just the gameplay depth. I think the big thing to me about Hearthstone is the deck building really lacks depth. Hearthstone actually has a pretty decent card pool at this point, but just like the number of combinations of cards you can play are just so small because of the way their deck building restrictions are set up. And the way their core set works, or whatever it's called. That's one of the things I really like about Mythgard is, in addition to removing that resource variance, it keeps a lot of the same deck building depth Magic has. Interested to see if they last. Interested to see if they last long enough to get a deep card pool, what their game looks like. I think I'm happy with this at this point. I'm just gonna go ahead and run it back. You can always type ! deck in chat to get a link to the current deck list. There's also there's an interface on the screen that should let you mouse over to see it. I think referring to Hearthstone as any kind of variation of Magic is like pretty lazy and reductionist. I think there's enough distinction between what the games do that they're just different games, which is a good thing. Variety is the spice of life. There wasn't a ban list update today, Jin. I'm just gonna cast Bonecrusher Giant because it draws a card. So counter me, my card cantripped. Yeah, the games market in general is just like incredibly brutal to break into. There's a lot of things you can do in the games market correctly and still fail to succeed. Weird that they didn't wait till I drew my card for the turn, because now I just get to do this. Hey, Blunt Angel, thanks for the 13 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, then I think the plan here is just like Brazen Borrower them back into the Stone Age while we hit them for 5. Yep. How does it feel? Did it feel good? Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. We're on the scoreboard, chat. I knew we could do it. Was that 2 in a row? 2 in a row? Oh, golly. Oh, golly. All right, let's do one more with Temur Adventures. We'll take a quick ad break, and then we'll roll on into some Big Red. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out today. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Monday wherever you are. Is this the person who was playing blue-white control a second ago? I feel like I recognize this name. There is not a public counter for 4 bits. Oh, chat. Some little plebeian asshole who isn't even reasonable enough to subscribe told me I look like a douchebag when I tell people to justify their questions to me. Weird. Listen, person on Twitter who decided to tweet at me. You're now blocked because... And anywho, if you want other Twitch channels where people are gonna just take crap and not expect their viewers to do any kind of effort or reasonable, that's basically every other Twitch channel out there. So feel free to not let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. My favorite part is people like that don't do my job, very clearly aren't a successful streamer, and they're like, but listen, Jeff, with these 3 easy tips, you will be better at your job. And it's like, trust me, I kind of have a good system. No, I didn't tweet at anyone, Coons. I just blocked an idiot. In other words, today ends in Y.
Are you okay? Oh, I think so.
You want my best piece of advice? People often ask me for tips on streaming, and the number one thing that enough people don't consider, in my opinion, when they're managing their Twitch channel is the person who's a turd, who you tolerate being a turd because you don't want them to leave your Twitch channel. That completely ignores the fact of all the people who are gonna stop watching your channel because you don't kick that turd out of your chat. The people who are annoyed that you're sitting there spoon feeding people stuff that they should put a little bit of thought into rather than just spewing it, those people aren't gonna say anything. They're just gonna close your stream. All right, what do I want to do here? I think I just attack and take this trade and then make a 5/5, play a tapped land. They're down to 1 card in their hand, so if they can't interact with this 1/1, my 5/5 should just dominate this board. Yeah, especially in the day and age where anyone who wants one can basically have a megaphone. It's very easy to fall into the trap of the people with the megaphones represent everyone. Was that a good draw, chat? What do we think of that one? They're dead, right? This 12's them and this 2's them. I mean, I think there's more lurkers than not. Applies to, like, every platform in general. I think we basically just pivot into, like, a Growl mirror in this format. We just, like, cut these because they have questing beasts and flyers, like board in Aether Gust and clicks a bit. I could maybe be right to board in Scorching Dragonfire, but I don't think I like that more than anything else I'm playing here. Thanks for the 11 months, Silly Cheese. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Zavi Wise, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate you keeping me around. Thanks for the 17 months, Zig. Does this count as obscene amounts of money? Counts as keeping me around. I appreciate it. Here we are, boys. J. Denzanet, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. The dancing monkey on the donate page is the best thing in it. Listen, I understand my shtick and I understand leaning into it. Blitzx, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Roscoe nabbed it. Thanks for the 13 months. Yeah, embeds technically aren't bots, just like asterisk, actually. Yeah, this hand needs some red sources, but if it draws them, it's real good. Shock me, daddy. Sailor Dark, thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Poor little innkeeper. Never stood a chance. The real question here is, do I Aether Gust this giant? I think I'm supposed to. To be fair, on Twitter, even if the people you're looking at aren't bots, they're probably not real people. Wow, that's an aggressive attack. No blocks. Oh, they didn't have a 4th land. All right, that seems good for us. He's up. Borrower plus Bonecrusher here might let us stomp on through. Man, where's a red source when you need one? This is super awkward. I just like can't double this, can't do this. I guess I go petty theft this. Attack, they trade, play Bonecrusher. We beat that deck the other day, Punishing Waterfalls. Yeah, those have been up for a little bit, Rexbox. They appear, the message, that question appears sporadically. I don't think there's anything in particular it triggers. I think it's just like low probability random. Red source. Removal spell. Cleave ho! This card's really good, chat. Have I mentioned that this card's really good? I always click frowny face because I'm a bitter man. That card's way better than Temur Metal Rage. No joke. In Standard, at least. in non-rotating formats, like Temur Battle Rage is obviously better in Shadow, but like in decks like this, I think Cleave is way better than Battle Rage would be if it was legal. The fact that it sticks around is great. Yeah, this was super reasonable. And thanks for the support, Sunshine. I think I was pretty happy with what we did. I think my one question would be, I'm not certain Cindervines is the axis I would like to attack the Fires matchup on. It is kind of nice that it kills Oven against Cat, but I'm kind of honestly inclined to just like cut these, go up 2 strokes, and then like play another Shieldbreaker or like some copies of Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard. I kind of feel like this is just the best card in the matchup against Fires. I just would like to have all of them. The blue splash, while not completely free, Cindervines is good in the Reclamation matchup. I mean, Stroke's also good there. And I don't think Reclamation is a good deck, so I'd rather board against the good deck than board against the bad deck. And like, you have Aether Gust to take Reclamation off the table still, so I think I'd change the board to this. The blue cards in the main deck are like, they're fine. They definitely make it easier to play Innkeeper without playing low quality cards, but the blue cards in the sideboard are a pretty big upgrade, I feel, over traditional Gruul. I don't think Flash is prevalent enough. I also think most of the cards you really care about out of the Flash deck, Disdainful Stroke counters. If you really want to beat up the Flash deck, you could play a couple of Disputes, I think. I think that's fine. I heard in a podcast that you posted your Rivals deck in the Discord in Russian. Is this a joke on your part or is that a lie? So, you can go and see that I did post my deck list in Russian. So, just to state, I haven't actually talked about this, but just to state my case to the public on this. Every single time there's a Twitch Rivals event, they ask for feedback on what we could do, how they can do better. And every single time I have given them the feedback that they need to standardize deck list submissions, both in what the picture needs to be and that it needs to be in English. And 2 of the last 4 times I've played a rival tournament, I've had to deal with non-English deck lists from various opponents just because it wasn't their native language. So this time, to be a bit of an annoying turd, I submitted my deck list in Russian because, again, right before I submitted, I asked, hey, are there any requirements for this? And they said no. So it was a legal deck list, and was it annoying? Yeah. But they should require, 1, it should be a text submission, and 2, it's very trivial for them to at least say, hey, these need to be in English. And if you've never clicked through the deck lists on that website, there's people that post deck lists that are pictures of this. There's people that post pictures of notepad files. There was a quid pro quo involved, and the Russians demanded that I post it in Russian. Yeah, no, I was just like, I was being petty, but hopefully next time they say, hey, you need to post your deck lists in English. Or what would be ideal is if they required everyone to upload them to the website. And just for the record, I'm sure someone's gonna clip this without this part. Every single round that someone asked me, hey, do you have an English version of your deck list? I sent them an English version of my deck list. So just for the record, it took an extra step for them and it annoyed some people, but it was intended to annoy people to get them to finally make it standard and change the rules. Party Bus CEO, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So it's actually, for people that don't know, it's super trivial to get this client to export in whatever format you want. You just go to graphics and you click the drop down here. And like, I clicked Russian. And then once the client's in Russian, you just select your deck and click export. So it's just like 30 seconds to export in any language that this client supports. All right. We are going to play a mono red Fires variation here up next. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll. So we'll be back in a few minutes while I update everything everywhere. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. See you in a few. Jeff confirmed Russian